potatoes and feed sacks. That's right. Okay, are we going to talk about feed sack potatoes? Yeah? Potatoes? Yeah? Hi there, I'm Deanne from Four Sons Farm, and I am going to show you how to grow potatoes in feed sacks with twins. What, sweetheart? Yeah, this is a potato. We're going to grow them again this year. Yeah.
It's a potato.
Yeah.
Potato.
So, you might be asking yourself why feed sack potatoes or why feed sacks in general. Because they're really convenient. It's a great frugal way to use something, especially if you're a farmer and you've got something kicking around your yard. Because if you are a farmer, you have copious amounts of feed sacks. They're extremely durable. They can be used year after year after year. And if you're not a farmer, just go to a farm and ask them if they have feed sacks that you can have, and they'll just probably help you load your vehicle up. They're great for letting kids grow potatoes in, or any vegetable for that matter. And they're really, really good because you can put your own drainage in them. And by growing them this way, you're space saving, and they're not going to be sitting in water. So I know as a young girl, my parents, one year our potato field was very, very wet, and all of our potatoes rotted. So the nice thing about growing them in feed sacks, or any container for that matter, is that they are always draining. So another great thing about feed sacks is if you have a small space, if you're somebody who doesn't have a large garden, if you don't have an in-ground garden, if you live in an apartment block, or you're just starting out and you feel that potatoes might be a little bit overwhelming, feed sack potatoes are great for that, because everything is just grown in that feed sack and it's very easily controlled. I know that if we had grown the potatoes that we did last year in our yard at the farm, it would have required a lot of manpower. So for us, our intention actually was not to grow potatoes at all last year, as we just didn't have the time, nor the manpower, nor the soil to put potatoes in the ground. Then I actually had a local farmer friend send me a message and ask if I had a need for feed sacks. I said I didn't, but I picked up the feed sacks anyways. And then just doing some research and talking to a few people, someone had mentioned, why don't you try growing potatoes in feed sacks? So I looked up the idea and I thought, why the heck not? This will be a great experience. I've never grown potatoes in containers, and now I can grow something that I wasn't previously going to grow. So they were great for us. We had a great yield. We did about 20 to 30 potatoes per bag. That's what we yielded, over 10 bags. So, I mean, it didn't seem like a lot when we were harvesting, but then when I averaged it out, I mean, to get, approximately 200 plus potatoes in an area that was very confined, and it was easy for me. There was no heavy labor for me to try and get these potatoes into the ground. So it was an awesome use it was awesome for us. We found a use for something that probably would have ended up in a landfill, and by using the feed sacks, we ended up producing more food on our farm. So how do we grow feed sack potatoes? So you're going to want to start off with a feed sack. Mine's already rolled down, but this is what it looks like completely unrolled. So you're going to want to roll it about halfway down. And I was hoping that I could do this outside, but it's windy and it's cold, so we'll stay in. So we're going to roll our feed sacks down about halfway. And I didn't worry about cleaning my feed sacks out. If you want to clean them out, that's fine. You also want to make sure that you're staying away from burlap feed sacks, because burlap will break down and then everything will just fall out. So you're going to want to use a plastic type of feed sack, even though there's like a woven cloth out there. I guess it's maybe like a synthetic. But this is what you're going to do. You're going to roll it down halfway. Oh, sweetheart. You're going to roll the bag down halfway. Then you're going to fill your bag with some really, really rich soil. If you don't have access to compost or aged manure, like through a farm or through a co-op of some sort, go to your local greenhouse and look through their soils. And you can even make a blend. You can buy a large bale of like just a basic potting soil, and then you can amend it. You can even go and just get yourself some cheap potting soil, but then get yourself some good fillers like worm castings, like a bone meal or a fish meal. You can buy organic compost and aged manure from greenhouses, but you're going to want to have very rich soil in here, very rich fertile soil, because your potatoes can't go looking for it in the ground. They are confined to what is in here, so you need to feed them. So we're going to fill this all the way, maybe about half an inch shy to the top of the lip here with soil. When it's filled, you're going to want to go around and stab it with a knife to give it drainage holes. I did like 5 to 7 on each side, and then 1 or 2 just down the sides here. Once it's full of soil, you're going to take your potatoes, and we didn't split or anything. We just planted whole potatoes, and it just ended up working out that I had enough bags for potatoes. You can do your own research if you want to cut your potatoes or not. But I found some research that says it might just be better to leave your potatoes whole, so I went with that. So you're going to take your potato and you are going to just plunk it in and plant it to a depth of half an inch from the top. Then you're going to mound soil over it and just kind of mound it a little bit. Now your potatoes are in, your soil is mounded, you're going to water this really, really well, and you're going to find a nice sunny spot for this to sit for the entire summer, for your entire growing season. Wherever you put this, if you lean this up against your house or up against a trellis, or you put it in your garden bed, you just want to make sure that the site that you are putting it in is well draining. You do not want these bags sitting in water. So now we've got our potatoes in a nice sunny location full with rich soil. Our potatoes are planted, they're being watered, and now they're starting to grow. So when our potato is a foot tall, we are going to take some more of that really, really rich soil, and first we are going to roll up our bag once. You just roll up. Sorry, it's loud. The lip once. Then you are going to take a bunch of that really, really rich soil and fill it in and mound it around the base of your plants. And then you're going to let it grow, and you're going to let it grow another foot. And you're going to keep rolling and adding soil and mounding soil. And eventually you're going to get to the top of your bag and you can't add any more soil. And hopefully by that time your potato plant is starting to flower anyways. If your potato plant is starting to flower, you want to stop adding soil. But if you are still able and it's not flowering, you want to still try and mound soil around it. And this is called hilling. And it helps increase the depth, which ensures better better potato production. So you've made it all the way to the top. Your soil is completely mounded. Your flowers are starting to come out on your potato plant. And you are just going to give it lots of water and just keep an eye on it. Once your plants start to die back, you will know then it's time to harvest. And the fun thing about harvesting is you just tip your bag over. So wherever your bag is, if it's on your deck, you obviously don't want to tip it there. So you want to think about where you're going to be putting your bags, because you're not going to be carrying a huge sack of potatoes and mud somewhere to go and dump it. So you're going to dump out your bag, and this is really fun for the kids. My boys just love pushing the bags over and then rummaging through the soil looking for all these potatoes. And they each had their own basket, and it was like an Easter egg hunt. It was great. So I think I think that is it when it comes to growing feed sack potatoes. I have made a printable that you can access with all the information, and I'll be around later at the end of this summit to answer any questions you might have. But if you have access, or if you can get access to feed sack potatoes, if you've wanted to grow feed sack potatoes, if you live in an apartment and you feel like this isn't something you can do, now you can. And if you have lots of feed sacks, this isn't just specific to potatoes. You could probably grow strawberries in here. I'm sure you could do other things like beets. You could do greens. You could do all sorts. I actually thought this year we might do some of these and then do a bean teepee out of them so they're not sitting on the ground getting kicked over by the kids. You're done? Good job. I'm almost done too. So feed sack potatoes or any type of vegetable is really almost done. Yeah. It's a great thing to do with kids. If your kids have their own garden bed, do you want to fill it up with potatoes? One at a time, one at a time. If your kids have a garden, give them a feed sack and put potatoes in it. It's a really, really great vegetable to grow. One reason why I enjoyed growing potatoes with the kids is other plants they can see and they can snack on, but the potatoes they couldn't see. So there was this constant yearning to see what was in there. And when the day came and they got to harvest the potatoes, it was so much fun. It was like a wild Easter egg hunt. So yeah, that is feed sack potatoes. I think I covered everything in regards to growing potatoes. So if you give this a try, let me know how it works out. And we're going to be doing feed sack potatoes because I'm still not ready to do any potatoes in the ground. And I really like this idea, and my farmer friend has a lot of feed sack bags again. So this is what we're going to be doing. Oh, one thing I forgot to say, sorry, is how many potatoes to put in your bag. You can put anywhere between 3 to 5 potatoes. If your potato is, do you have a big one in here? If your potato is little like this guy, I would plant maybe 4 or 5. If your potato is big like this one, can you sit down please? If your potato is big like this one, I would do 3. So use your best judgment. And last year when we grew feed sack potatoes, it was our first time doing it, and I grew a variety of different potatoes. I grew whites, I grew reds, and I grew fingerlings, and I grew a purple variety. And all of them did exceptionally well. So, yeah, you want to put some potatoes in there? Sure. There you go. So all in all, growing feed sack potatoes was a great experience. We had a great harvest, and it was a huge learning experience. And it was frugal. These containers didn't cost me anything, and I can use them again year after year after year. So have fun, enjoy growing feed sack potatoes. Thanks so much for being here. Go, yeah.